Welcome back to the Success Catalyst. My name is Nina, I'm your host, and today I have a dynamic and inspiring guest, Alex Dumas. Alex is an international speaker, best-selling author, and coach. Since 2018, he has trained hundreds of corporate leaders and entrepreneurs to become win-win communicators. Alex is the go-to expert for leadership, communication, and team building. He has led a global movement that has generated over six figures for charitable causes and has built global communities as vice president of the BIPOC Coach Collective. Alex is also the head coach for the Black executive men community and a partner of Black leaders worldwide. I'm so excited to learn from his wealth of experience and insights today. So, welcome to the show, Alex.
Hey Nina, thank you. Thank you for the warm welcome. And I might have to take you with me because reading off that resume of sorts, that quick those quick highlights, I'm like, man, that sounds good. I want to meet that guy too.
Yeah, we tend to take ourselves for granted. Like sometimes we forget the awesome things that we're doing every day, and we tend to forget the small and big wins because we don't look at that person from another perspective. So it always sounds good to hear it from someone else, and we always need that reminder of how awesome we are.
Yeah, for sure. That's a big part of my work as a coach.
Yeah. So I know you've made a significant impact in the fields of leadership, communication, and team building. So can you share with us what initially drew you to this line of work and how your journey began?
Yeah, great question. Thank you. That story starts when we got to go rewind to little Alex because reading up those things there, leading these communities, leading these different movements, speaking, authoring, that sounds great now, but that wasn't how always was. I grew up in New York and I'm the youngest of four children. And there was a moment that I experienced when I was around 6 years old. I looked at this old family photo and I saw my parents, my older sister, my older brothers. And I'm not the sharpest in math, but youngest of four kids, I see three kids. And
Mhm.
I'm like, where am I? I make this observation, this awareness came into my mind, and then all of a sudden another thought popped in. I'm not here.
Mm.
I don't exist. I'm not important. And
Oh.
that may not sound dramatic or anything like that, but inside of me, right, I instantly felt something shift inside of me of this is how it is. This is how it's always going to be. This is my destiny to be insignificant, to be nothing. And I carry that with me for most of my teens, most of my young adulthood, of not being connected to people, feeling small, shrinking in different areas, not speaking up, not advocating for myself, just kind of going with the flow, drifting, really. And within that, also shrinking, but yet trying to recognize, like, wait, I have this thing inside of me. I want to do more. I want to be great, right? There's something always in my head. This voice might be a subconscious,
Mhm.
but it always was speaking to me like, hey, what if? Hey, maybe you can do more than this. Maybe you can be better than this. But I would ignore it because that old story, that old paradigm. Well, who am I? I'm not important.
Mhm.
What's the point? What's the use? Why should I aspire to do anything great in my life when I'm literally not in this picture? Right. So these are the thoughts that are going through my mind and I'm obsessing about it. I'm trying different things. I'm trying to fit in with this crowd. I'm trying to do the things that I think will get me acceptance and attention.
Mhm.
Meanwhile, at the same time, I'm rejecting that. I push it away. So it's an interesting paradox, right? I want to be seen, I want to be heard, I want to be valued. At the same time, I want to hide, I want to run away, I want to make sure that people just ignore me. I'm just another brick in the wall. So I set that table there. I want to share that with you in the audience because this is the mentality. This is my mindset going into my professional careers and in relationships. And it really wasn't around until 2006. I met this lovely young lady. Her name is Sarah. We wound up getting married and we're still married. So just in case people are like, you want, like, what happened? No, we're still together. We have a beautiful life. We got two children. She started to pour in these beliefs into me of, hey, maybe you could do more with your life. Maybe there's something else for you. Maybe there's she saw the gifts in me, like just how you read off my highlights, right? She saw through it right away. She's like, hey, you're somebody, you can do something, you can be amazing. And she poured that belief into me. And I started to think to myself, maybe she's right. And then I got involved into the personal development space. And then 2016 is where things really turned around, where I got introduced to the world of coaching and professional speaking. And the lights turned on, right? In college, I studied psychology because I was trying to figure out what was wrong with me,
Mhm.
quote unquote. But and this personal growth journey really started there and tabled it for a while. But then 2014, 2015, 2016, I started to look at, well, what would be possible if I changed my mindset? Could it change my life? Could it make me a better person? Could it help me build the business? I don't know. Let's figure out. Let's try it. And going back to 2016, seeing speakers, seeing coaches, and I just knew this is what I'm meant to do. This is the thing, right? It was one of those moments, right? The lightning bolt hits you, and it's like, okay, God, I see it. You want to call it universe, spirit, call it Gus. All I knew was that this is something that spoke to me, and this might be an opportunity for me to amplify my voice in a different way. And since then, it's just been this, I call it obsession of learning about myself, developing myself, helping other people do the same thing. And it's been a journey towards mastery since. And I'm still on that path, and I'm excited to find out what I'll learn more about myself and what I'll learn about clients. So
Wow.
that's me in a nutshell. That's the Cliff Notes.
Thank you so much for sharing this, Alex. Such an inspiring journey. And my takeaway from your story is that we should always start asking the right questions, and it's never too late to ask the questions. You were, I think, very mature for as as you said, little Alex started asking these questions. So that's amazing. But many people will say that maybe it's too late for me to start asking these questions, like, why am I here for? What's my mission? Or what's my passion? People tend to think it's too late, but it's never too late because eventually you still have some potentially new that needs to be dug and needs to be expressed. And I think the second highlight of your story is being around someone who finds you inspiring and someone who really inspired you to go and look for that potential and express it. So, such an amazing story again. I really, really love it. And thanks again for sharing it. And I know, Alex, that since 2018, you've trained hundreds of corporate leaders and entrepreneurs to become win-win communicators. I love that name, win-win communicators. So, what are some key principles that you teach and why are they so effective?
Yeah, thank you. You know, with win-win, what I've experienced in my corporate background, I came from the nonprofit space, so I worked with developmentally disabled or different abled individuals, right? Special needs from cerebral palsy, traumatic brain injury, autism, things of that nature. So my background in at corporate sense is it has a different path from most people, right? My wife, she's been a CFO in different areas. Other people that I've been connected to, they had like the real like business button up, like blue,
Mhm.
white collar job. And what I've heard constantly from them and even experienced with myself is this disconnect, right? From upper management, from C-suite to down to your quote unquote foot soldiers, the ground level, the day-to-day workers. And this guy's not talking to this guy, or she's an idiot, or why they
Mm,
send me this email. And there's just this lack of harmony, this lack of teamwork, of camaraderie. And I started to think to myself, along with my own journey that I shared with you of being disconnected, of feeling isolated, feeling lonely, why does it require me ascending? That means that you lose, right? I don't have to cut your throat to to get to advance in my life, my career. And what I really started looking at is where are we coming from when we're communicating,
mm,
right? When I speak on stages, when I talk to people, I'm really focused more on who you're being as a communicator versus the tactics, right? If I'm active listening, if my body language is right, those things are important. But at the end of the day, I want to think about this thing I call going for the gold, and you kind of alluded to it after this first story I shared about finding people that inspire you, finding people that you can connect with. And I look at it from this way. What's the gold in what this person's saying?
Mm,
Is there truth to it, right? Some people might can mislabel it as like, oh, they're judging me, they're bullying me, they're attacking me. I'm not dismissing that, but what if there's a chance that we could slow down for a second and be like, hey, actually, you know what? This supervisor here, they gave me maybe a write-up or a report or something like it, or some kind of review, and maybe I
mhm,
didn't agree with it, but let's take a minute, just pause, time out. Hey, what's the gold in there? What can I extract from there that can help me improve? Right? How can I actually win? How can I actually grow and ascend versus, well, they don't like me, they treat me wrong, and I'm just gonna hide, right? I can go back to my default instead of being creative. So when I talk about win-win communication, I'm really coming from a place of, can I understand you and can you understand me? And I think if we can get to that level, we can all slow down with each other. That might sound like pie in the sky, kumbaya, woo-woo talk, but give it a try. Let's think about it. When I'm with my kids, there's so many times they're my best teachers. There's so many times that they'll say something, I mishear it, they get upset, I'm upset, and all that would have taken was just like, hey, can you clarify that? This is what I heard. Can you like, can you repeat that? Can you just share what you thought about that? Or if it's me going to give them a lesson or trying to help them find something, right? Go for that gold. It's like, hey, slow down. Wait, what did you see in this argument here? What did you think about this? Or like, how does this affect other people? If we can think about other people, how they're feeling, not necessarily dismissing what you're feeling, right? Your feelings, your emotions, your experience, your lens of the world is valid. But at the end of the day, we're all on this floating rock together. We all have to work together to some capacity. So let's take some time and figure out, how can I bring out the best in this person, right? Go for that gold. But how can I, another example is I talk about building a bigger bubble. How can I cast a big vision that enrolls people into what I'm doing? And that's been my experience throughout my career. Whenever I've been up to something big, whenever I've been leading global movements, right? You talked about the charitable causes. I'm coming from a different place. I'm not coming from a place of like, hey, can you just, do this? Can you give me some money? Can you like
mhm,
help out? And right, it's not weak, it's not disempowered. It's like, hey, this is what we're up to, this is where we're going. That's a leadership. I'm going here. I'm taking you with me if you want to come along for the ride. But the door is open, right? It's a different level of strength, it's a different
mhm.
level of intensity and focus. And that's what I've been blessed to share with other people in this journey so far.
Wow, I love it. And you know what I love about what you said about shifting perspectives, because not only you're teaching people to communicate in a win-win manner, but you're also helping them becoming more aware of their perspective of the situation or the dialogue or what's going on. And that could be translated in so many other areas of life. If we get this habit of becoming aware and conscious about, oh, this is just my lens of the world. This is just the way I see it, but what else can be true? And once you start asking this question and stay open-minded to it, to listen to another points of view, not just to respond or to react to it and to share, no matter what, share your perspective and think that this is the way to see the world and I want everybody else to see it the same way, but also to just stay open. Maybe I'm going to learn something else today. And instead of playing the victim and blaming everybody else because you're right and everybody else is wrong, by default, by principle, let's not do that. And let's, as you said, slow down. I love it, especially in dialogues and in the corporate world. Everyone is in a hurry to just get their argument out there and making it the right way to do things. But once we slow down and we learn to respond instead of reacting, many things can be different and many doors could open. So I really, really love this concept of win-win communication. And I know that you also had, or you still have, a role as head coach for the Black executive men community. So, what are some of the common challenges that these leaders could be facing, and how do you support them in overcoming these challenges?
Yeah, with Black executive men, what I've loved working with that community, that group, is seeing that no matter where you are, quote unquote, on the outside, there's still this thing on the inside,
Mhm.
right? I told you about in the beginning, even as I was growing up, right? If I was having a conflict with somebody, or maybe there's something I wanted, or a relationship or something like that, I would be operating from little Alex. I would still have little small Alex as the person that's speaking. It's big Alex on paper, but little one's talking. He's the one thinking, well, maybe I'm not important. Maybe I can't do this. Maybe I'm not valued. Maybe I don't have what it takes.
Mhm.
And when I've been working with these men, they've got these incredible track records of success, right? They've got so much ability, but yet these different thoughts come in their heads of like, well, I want to jump into this next level. I want to advance, but what if I can't? Right? These doubts and the challenges they're really facing are just guidance on their careers. Hey, what's next for me?
Mm.
And that can be a fun place, especially if you're a high performing, high achieving type of individual, because I love to play with that person. I love to do the thing of helping them slow down. And that is really uncomfortable for a lot of them because go, 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 right? The Western world here in the United States. I want to go. I want to get after it. Come on, bro. Grind time. Come on, come on, come on.
Yeah.
And it's like, wait, let's look at what's the real reason behind this?
Mm.
What's what's the real inspiration? And I want to get them levels deeper, things that they never shared, right? The secret dreams, the dreams of, wow, I don't want to be a failure. I don't want to disappoint people. And that can be attached to childhood, right? To what's passed down our programming from our guardians, parents, community, right? There's that pressure there. There's also that feeling of maybe being an imposter. I don't know if I really belong here. I don't know if these white executives are gonna respect me or if they're gonna honor me and trust me. I don't know if I can really do this. Yeah, that's a real feeling too. That's definitely valid. And then there's some others that are like, I want the pursuit of the next thing, but they don't take the time to even acknowledge it,
Mm.
right? They're so busy getting promotions, they're so busy climbing up this ladder that they even forgot like they're on the wrong wall, right? You've heard that expression like I climbed the ladder just to realize I was against the wrong wall. Now they got like, oh, I gotta climb down or I gotta
Wow.
figure out how to lean against this other building. The work I've been doing with them has been really simple. Just hey, let's get clear on who you are, what you stand for, and then coming back to this communication piece, when you're going for these promotions, when you're going for these different reviews and advancements, who's going to be the person that walks in that room? Is it going to be the person that's like, gee, golly gosh, I hope I get this. Please give me like more porridge, sir, right? The begging bowl type of
Yeah.
individual. Or are you coming in like, hey, I'm the right person for this job. I'm the right person for this role. There's nobody else who can do what I do. And not arrogantly, right? But just self-assured, self-determined, and confident. And that moves mountains. That moves, that shifts people when you could feel that, like, okay, this guy's not messing around. Like we got to get him in here right now. Like whatever it takes, throw the bucket of money at him. Like we need this person to lead our team or lead this division or whatever it may be. But these are some of the challenges that are operating in their heads, and I love to just mess with their thinking and remind them of their brilliance, draw out their brilliance, and remind them like, hey, you've got this. You have got X amount of years of this experience, right? The track record, and now to show up and be that, right? That's really the most important part of this being versus what I have to do and uh, how do I get it? Like, no, just be that, center that, be anchored, grounded in that, and then move forward, take action.
Such an amazing work that you're doing, Alex. Really, bravo, because you are literally rewiring their brains by shifting their attitudes. As you were saying exactly, like the kind of attitude, the kind of energy you are projecting to people, you will get exactly the same thing on your side because people would notice like if you are really truthful, if you are really honest but confident, not in an arrogant way as you were saying. That's very important because some people tend to not differentiate between being arrogant and being confident. We have to, I think, we have to have enough ego for us to be wanting to win, but that does not mean having an ego problem. And this, I think, where you come to make things clear and let them be grounded and ask the right questions. It's not about the how, it's about the what. Find your reason, and then eventually everything will be clear, everything will get easy because once you find your reason, you're much more self-assured and you're projecting that honesty and that confidence and that energy towards people so they would throw money buckets at you. I love that analogy. I love it.
Yeah,
um
can I share one more thought about this?
sure,
Or
yeah.
move on? It's a really fine line between being confident and being humble. And what can get confusing for people is this idea of false humility of,
Mm,
you know what, like, yeah, I'm okay. And like, no, no, you got to speak yourself into a room everywhere you go. And being a black man in America, that has not always been safe.
yeah.
And we're still healing from generations of trauma of like, hey, if you're smart, if you're strong, if you're brilliant, if you can excel at something, that could potentially be a death sentence.
Mm,
So we've been conditioned to kind of shrink. And what I see is what I said before. We got to start expanding, building these big bubbles, building this mentality, building this self-assurance, this groundedness of, you know what, I can do anything. I'm meant to be here. I have opportunity. This isn't 40, 50, 60 years ago. And this is only like a generation away, right? We're only a grandparent, a parent away from where we were sprayed with water, we were uh, segregated and things like that. So it's really vitally important right now to recognize we're here in the best time possible.
mhm.
And also there's future generations that are going to benefit from our work. So let's lay the foundation down. Like the things have been paid for us. We've had many disadvantages. All right, let's turn that around. We can move forward in a confident way and still be humble enough to recognize like, wow, we need support. We need to speak up. We need to have community. We need to ask for help when needed, but also be strong enough to say, you know what, I'm gonna take the initiative first. So I just wanted to lay that out, to give real context of like these are real things that we're experiencing, but also the opportunity that's available. This is the best time right now to make positive change, to make generational change.
Wow, I love that message, Alex. Thank you for sharing again. And I know that you also have a partnership with BIPOC Coach Collective. So tell us more about this collaboration and how it is enhancing your mission and reach.
Yeah, the collective has been an absolute blessing. So this started in July 2020. So our founder, our president, her name is Reem Labib Tyson. She was experiencing this world of being in different coaching cohorts and rooms and not seeing many faces of color in these spaces and thinking to herself, you know, I need to just create an affinity space. I need to just create a spot where folks like me can just connect, can network, can brainstorm, can share resources. And that's how it really started. Just on a monthly basis, people just coming together virtually, talking, shop talk, as I like to call it.
Mhm.
And I got connected with them around October, September, October, somewhere around then. This is the power of intention, right? The power of commitment. I was looking for
Yeah.
spaces like this. I was like,
Uh-huh.
man, where do I find more spaces where people look like me and I can just feel like I'm in a space that belongs? Not that there's anything against white coaches. I have plenty of white coaches in my network and my space and friends, but there's no real designated spaces for coaches of color. And then I found my way into that collective. And at that time, we were just meeting monthly, right? And I just kept serving and serving. And eventually, myself, Reem, and two other coaches, their names are Kibi Anderson and Gwen Siegel, we started to see that, hey, this is something. We have something here. Like this is people keep showing up, more people keep registering, more people keep talking about us. Let's make this something. And so February 2023, we launched this as a membership space. So
Mhm.
people enroll into this and we start to do private trainings. We start to share more resources, whether it's job opportunities, business opportunities, coaching opportunities, right? I've created several clients just as a result of people
Mhm.
referring or introducing me to people, speaking opportunities, people going on podcasts, right? Our mission is really helping is to curate this brave and authentic space for coaches of color to advance professionally, right? To elevate their voices in the coaching profession and very important to grow their businesses. So I see it as two things. One, getting better with the coaching skills, just
Mhm.
practical things, whether it's through peer coaching, mentor coaching, different resources that we share, and then the actual business building side. How do you market yourself? How do you speak about yourself? How do you tell the story about what you do? How do you negotiate different contracts, right? We have so much brilliance and so many experts in our collective space in our community that I can throw a I could throw a rock somewhere and be like, hey, I need somebody who can talk about marketing. I need somebody who can talk about branding. I need somebody who can talk about coaching programs and pricing. And we've got that covered. And it's been a really fruitful partnership. And I'm honored. I'm blessed. I'm grateful to be able to just attach my name to something like this that, once again, a bubble. I think about how do I build this bigger bubble? How do we make this? We're a global movement right now. We have people in the UK, we have people in Africa, we have clients and coaches from all over the world who are seeing what we're doing, and we're just getting started. This is the scary part, right? We had our first in-person gathering earlier this year in February, right? The first time that I got to meet these people that I've been talking to for 4 years online, and it was a beautiful celebration. And now the mind goes, all right, expansion, bubble time. How do we do
Mhm.
this bigger? How do we make this a 1 day thing, a 2 day thing? Where do we go? Let's fill up an arena. Let's fill up a stadium. That's where we're going with it. And it's been a beautiful journey. And for those who have been a part of it, who have seen the growth from day one to day now, thank you. We appreciate you. We honor you. And buckle up. We're taking this to the next level pretty soon.
Wow, I love it. And I've always been inspired by the power of a community and the power of a mastermind. What you're a part of here is a huge mastermind, composed by like-minded people, people with the same purpose or at least very similar purpose, all with the intention of serving and of sharing whatever they have in terms of wisdom, knowledge, expertise. You mentioned you have other coaches, healers, people in marketing, people in business. The opportunities are endless when you're surrounded with like-minded people, all with good intentions and all with this passion for serving and this passion for sharing. So good for you, and I really wish you the best with your with this collective. And it's really amazing to see such communities building up. People are really in need of being in a community where they can share, they can get help, they can get support, and they can also share whatever they have in terms of knowledge and expertise, as I was saying, because we all have something in us and we all need something from other people. So thanks again for sharing this really beautiful example. And I know as well that Alex, you are an expert in team building. So what are some effective strategies or practices that you would recommend for creating cohesive and high-performing teams?
Yeah, some of these lessons I've sprinkled in here, but I'll share it like even more explicitly. So I shared at the start about what I call going for the gold, and that to me is just really about being connected to somebody, right? If I'm interested and intrigued in your best interests and making sure that you get to maximize your potential, that's
Mhm.
also going to help me grow. That's also going to allow me to come from a space of, wow, Nina's saying something really valuable here. Let me take heed to it. Let me take heart to it. How do I apply this? How do I use this? And I've been able to do this with the collective, with different movements I've been a part of, because these were just natural ways of being for me, right? These, I mean, I had to work on it. I had to build up the skills, right? I told you, little Alex, disconnected, didn't want to be with people. And for me to be on quote unquote front street, right, of leading these podcasts, of leading these events, I mean, for me, right, to me, it's like, how did this happen? Like, what,
Mm.
how did I do that? Oh, I started listening to people. I started actually paying attention on what's valuable to them and aligning it with who I am and what my desired outcomes are.
Mhm.
That's a big part of it. Two, the collaboration piece, right? What I call building a bigger bubble. There's no way for me to build the BIPOC Coach Collective by myself. If I wanted to get all the glory and people, woohoo, pat me on the back, Alex, you're
Mhm.
self-made, that's not possible. I'm good, but I'm not that good to hold these many personalities together, to hold these different high high performing people together, right? I have my gifts, but that's the beauty of having a team. There's plenty of times on my team are like, wait, Alex, right? I talk about slowing down people, but sometimes I get ramped up. I get excited about it. Okay, let's do this. We gotta go. And they're like, wait. How does this help? How does this serve the greater good? How does this serve the purpose? How is this going to affect us in the long run? And I'm so blessed to have a team that helps me pump the brakes from time to time, because in a team, right, there's somebody, the leader is typically the visionary. They're typically the one that's like, hey, we're gonna go here, right? We're gonna pull the future right now. We're gonna
Mm.
do this. And it's like, whoa, wait a minute. We have the infrastructure to do this? Does this really align with who we are? Does this make sense? And these different questions, right? And you said it before, powerful questions create powerful answers. When I was younger, I didn't ask powerful questions to myself. I think of them as weaker questions, like, oh, why is this happening? And why can't I have that? And why is he like this? And why didn't she like me? And right, things
Yeah.
that just don't serve me. And then I started shifting it to, well, what do I want to create? What's available to me? What's possible? What if? Oh my goodness, bubble, expansion. Last, as far as team building goes, I say taking those things about connecting and collaborating with people, and then how can we be creative?
Mhm.
Because if we need to continually innovate, what stale fails in my mind. And with the collective, with the Black Executive Men, with these different events I've been a part of, ultimate experiences, it's always about creativity. And the way I look at creativity is really simple. I want to make it fun to get it done.
I love it.
I would have this idea about, oh, I'm a procrastinator. It's not, you're not a procrastinator. You're not lazy. You're not this. You just found something else you'd rather be doing than the
Yeah.
task you're supposed to be doing.
Yes.
So what do? I turn things into games. I find ways to keep it fresh, to keep it innovative for myself, to keep it engaging and keep
Mhm.
my enthusiasm high. Because if I want to do something, I want to do it to the best of my ability,
Mhm.
but not to a point where I'm burning myself out, where I'm grinding and making it so heavy. I want to create this to be light, to create to be fun, to create it to be enjoyable. So at the end of the day, I step away from it. I'm like, wow, I did that. That was fun. That was awesome. I can't wait to do that again versus, oh my goodness, someone give me an IV. I need to take like a 3 month sabbatical.
Yeah.
My brain is shot. I'm wiped out. Oh my God. And it might be the same energy. It might be the same thing. Leading an event, you might be wiped out and tired. You can walk away from that energized and rejuvenated. The choice is really that. And I think that's the biggest part of team building, is allowing people to recognize that they have choice, that they're not stuck in a default place, and that they can come from a space of, I'm going to be a better listener. I'm going to come from a space of, I can be more inclusive and allow people who have different areas of expertise to actually support this big vision. I don't have to do it all by myself. I can do anything, but I don't have to do everything. Why would I do that to myself? Why would I put that type of burden on myself? And then, can I make it fun to get it done? Can I just have some fun with this? Can I make this a big game, a big project? and have fun and include other people in that. That's been my recipe of success so far.
That's such a good reminder for entrepreneurs who tend to become a lone wolf in their journey and tend to want to do everything by themselves because they think, yeah, I have to get it done. Otherwise, people won't get it and people won't do it the way I want it to be done. But the thing is that a good leader only has to have one thing very clear, that is their vision. Once they have their vision as clearly set as possible, it becomes very easy to communicate that vision to other people who are willing to follow you and to help you. And once you communicate that vision, you have like multiplied your presence and multiplied your efforts and your time by as many people who are joining your team and following your leadership. So you get things done much more easily and you make things fun to be done. I love that. I love that motto. So
Thank you.
thank you for sharing these tips. So what's next for you, Alex? Are there any upcoming projects, initiatives, or goals that you're excited about? And can you share with our listeners?
Yeah, for sure. So as this coming out toward the end of the month in July, me and my wife are hosting a private dinner in Raleigh, North Carolina. We call it the Catalyst Circle, and it's going to be an intimate opportunity for 10, 12 folks to get together, network, brainstorm. Hey, we want to do these things that I live by, right? Let's expand this bubble, but we're actually going to shrink it here, just like this small container of people with big ideas, trailblazers, visionaries. And it doesn't necessarily need, it's open just to coaches, right? It's different industries. So I'm looking for different thought partners to show up in a way that who here is looking to make multi-generational impact, right? Those are the kind of conversations I'm really fascinated by. Like, what's the legacy? Where are we going? What's down the line? Because yes, now is important too. We got to take care of like what's going on here in the world now, but big picture, long-term thinking. That's what I'm really excited about. The other project that I'm also openly inviting folks to, and there might be a listener or a viewer here who feels called to it, is a 100-day program that I call Activate. And it's really looking at how do we expand your leadership without limits. So it's a one-on-one experience with me. And what we're gonna do in 100 days is gonna you talk about being turbocharged,
Uh-huh.
right? You get me, you put me in a room with you for 12 weeks, 13 weeks, you're not walking away the same, right? And so we're gonna have these different conversations. We're gonna get things into inspired action
Mm,
so that what you want to create right now is fruitful, is prosperous, and down the line, it's we always got to look at what's down the line. How does this help? How does this serve? How does this benefit the bigger picture, right? Bubble
mhm.
time, building this bigger bubble and including people into it. And you said a great thing about people following you and like, yeah, this is a way for you to become a powerful enroller. What's that vision? What's that secret gene that you have that maybe you've been embarrassed to speak about? Like,
Yeah.
Alex, I don't know if I can do that because people might laugh at me. I want the thing that people would laugh at you, call you crazy for, because we look at those people from a distance afterwards, hindsight, and say, wow, they were geniuses. Martin Luther King, he didn't have a plan, he had a dream. He just had a dream.
Mhm.
But people said, I see that dream too, and I want in. What do we have to do to make that happen? Game on. And that's just one dream, right? What is your dream? What's the secret dream that you have? And I'd love to be a thought partner with you, extract that, cultivate that, and integrate that in your world and leave it fully expressed.
Wow, I love it. You have such visionary goals, and I love that in a goal. So it has to be bigger than ourselves. There has to be like some kind of legacy, some kind of like what's in there for people coming to this universe, coming to this goal, coming to this vision after me. So I love this kind of attitude because it's all about sustainability, right? The universe is always for expression and for like expansion, and if we don't see what's beyond our physical presence, we're not seeing far enough. So thank you for sharing this message, Alex, and I wish you the best with your goals. Finally, is there any message you want to leave our listeners with today?
Yeah, for sure. So this is something that I share at the end of my daily podcast. I call my podcast is called Love Serve Care. It's a daily 3 minute, just 3 minute bites, right? 3, 2, 1, 3 minutes, 21 seconds. Literally, it's
Mhm.
3:21. And at the end of every episode, I share this, and this is more than a tagline or anything like that. This is really a core value of mine. So for you listening, for you watching, if you need to put one finger in your ear so it goes in, doesn't go out the other, right? Let it soak in, marinate in it. And this is the principle right here. So I share that you are born to live your life in abundance.
Mm,
You are the master of your future. You control your freedom, and you have complete dominance of your thoughts, your emotions, and your habits. And if you can get that, I am born to live my life in abundance. Okay. This is my birthright. You still have to put
mhm.
in work,
Yeah.
right? Depending on, but you still got, but it's there for you. I'm the master of my future. Yeah, you determine the ship. You are the one driving this. You control your freedom of how much you experience. I have complete dominance of my thoughts, emotions, and habits. The thoughts are going to come in, things are going to fly at you. We're sensory beings, all sorts of things are going to capture our attention. But I get to dominate. What do I think about? What routines, what patterns do I create? Am I going to be the person that says, wow, this is how it is, this is how life goes, default, can't do anything, oh well, too bad, so sad? Or will I choose to be the person that says, this is my obstacle, this is my challenge? There's an opportunity from it. There's gold in this, there's treasure in this. Can I expand? Can I make this fun? Can I do these different things I've talked about? That's your opportunity, only always.
Wow, such a powerful message. Thanks again, Alex, for all the wisdom and the visions that you shared with us today. I've learned a lot from your leadership expertise, and I would encourage our listeners to go check you up on the internet. So what I'm going to do is to share your social links. Where can people find you in the description of the episode so that we can reach out and communicate with you and hopefully we can find other collaboration opportunities to do together. So thanks again, Alex, one more time. It has been a real pleasure having you here on the Success Catalyst podcast. And to our listeners, thanks for listening, and we'll see you again in the next episode.